Good afternoon, my friends. It's so good to see you. Troy Hills Tigers. Hope you are doing well. And this read aloud this time around goes with Passport to the World Choice Board. Since Ramadan's upon us, I had found a book in our collection I love dearly called Lailah's Lunchbox, a Ramadan story. It's by Reem Faruqi, and Lailah has done the illustrations. Lailah's growing up fast, and this Ramadan will be the first one when she will fast. But Lailah's family moved from Abu Dhabi to America last year, and things are different now. Her mother gives her a note for the teacher explaining why Lailah is not bringing her lunch. But reading the note fills Lailah with worry. Will her teacher understand? Will her classmates? At lunchtime, her concerns drive her to the library, where she finds a way to overcome her fears and explain the meaning of Ramadan to her new school family. There's a beautiful looking lunchbox. And we begin. Oh, there's a little more. Why don't we read this? Lailah's family's moved to Georgia from Abu Dhabi, and Lailah still misses her friends. Although a lot has changed, good things are happening too. This year, her parents have agreed that she's old enough to take part in fasting for Ramadan. Lailah won't be taking her lunchbox to school for a whole month. But Lailah's excitement turns to worry. Will Mrs. Penworth and her classmates understand that she just hasn't forgotten her lunch? How can she explain that fasting for Ramadan is an important part of growing up? So we shall see. We won't be needing this for a while, said Lailah's mother, hanging up Lailah's lunchbox. Imagine, I won't be eating lunch for a month, replied Lailah with a twirl. I won't have to pack lunch for a month, said her mother with a bigger twirl. I guess it's a bit of a chore to pack lunch. The year before, Lailah had wanted to fast with her best friends Hind and Ishrat during Ramadan, but Lailah's mom had insisted she was too small. Remembering that, Lailah stopped twirling. She missed her friends. I'm enjoying so much the beautiful border on the top and bottom of this page. I really love the illustrations and the interesting way they've been put on the page. Moving from one continent to another had been hard. Peachtree City in Georgia from Abu Dhabi. That's quite a ways. On the map on her atlas, North America and the Middle East were 10 inches apart, but in real life, she was getting so much further away. She wished she was only 10 inches from Hind and Ishrat. She knew the sign by the highway said, Peachtree City, you'll love to call it home, but she didn't agree with the sign. Abu Dhabi still felt like her home. It is tough to leave your friends. The next morning, before sunrise, Lailah's mother gently nudged her. Lailah, she whispered, sorry time. Lailah chomped on her chocolate chip pancakes with her eyes closed. Delicious, she said. Come on, let's pray now, said her mom. So have your breakfast before the fast begins. After Seri, Lailah snuggled back into her bed until her mom woke her up again, this time for school. As she left the house, her mom handed her a note. Lailah, please give this note to Mrs. Penworth. Without her lunchbox to carry, her fingers felt extra free and swingy. She felt so light, she skipped to the school bus stop. Wow. So far, things are looking good. She's excited, she's happy, she's got a full belly. On the school bus, she got her mom's note. Dear Mrs. Penworth, this will be Lailah's first time fasting for the month of Ramadan, so it is an exciting time for us. Please excuse Lailah from lunch for this special month. Thanks, Mrs. Malik. Lailah didn't feel so bouncy anymore. What if Mrs. Penworth didn't know about Ramadan? Nobody else would be fasting with her. She folded the note into a teeny tiny square and hid it in her book bag. Oh, Lailah. She's gone from so happy and excited to feeling bad. I wish she hadn't hid the note. Lailah walked slowly to her class. Her throat felt dry all morning. When lunchtime arrived, she still hadn't given Mrs. Penworth her note. Lailah, did you forget your lunch? Asked Mrs. Penworth. Lailah opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Samantha volunteered, I'll share my lunch with Lailah. Mrs. Penworth shook her head. Thank you for the offer, Samantha, but Lailah, please get a sandwich from the cafeteria. Wow. Nobody knows because nobody celebrates like she does. They need to learn from her, that's all. She's in such a cool position she could be teaching her friends. Lailah followed her classmates to the cafeteria. Lailah, do you want some of my cream roll? Asked Anna. Lailah thought of telling Anna she was fasting, but she didn't think anyone at Sunnyvale Elementary School knew about Ramadan. No thanks, she started to say. I didn't bring my... Are you sure? Asked Anna, unwrapping the cream rolls. Layla watched the cream roll get smaller and smaller, and she didn't feel so sure. Cream rolls were her favorite. She looked away. Her nose still smelled food. She needs to go somewhere else where there's no food. Layla wished she'd given Mrs. Penworth a note. Even Isaiah's bologna sandwich looked tasty, and Layla didn't even like bologna. Her stomach rumbled. Suddenly she had an idea. While everyone was busy eating, she sneaked out of the cafeteria. Her stomach stopped grumbling. That would be hard to try to fast when everyone else is eating and you smell such good food. Why, Layla, it's a pleasure to see you, but what brings you here at lunchtime? Asked Mrs. Carman, the librarian. Yay, the library, the safe place. You can always come to the library if you feel like you need some space, a safe place, a place to just be yourself. Layla felt safe among all the books. Good. She opened her mouth, and this time her words tumbled out. Layla told Mrs. Carman that Mrs. Penworth and her classmates didn't know she was fasting. She told her how she missed Hend and Ishrat. It felt good to tell someone all the words that had been inside her mind all morning, and especially to tell her about Ramadan. Mrs. Carman understood. You must feel special to fast this Ramadan, said the librarian with a smile. Finally, I feel better now. I do, said Layla, but why is it so hard to explain? You know what I always do when I can't get my thoughts out or when I get shy about talking, asked Mrs. Carman. I write my thoughts down. That's a great idea. If you can't say it, write it. Layla got to work. She wrote neatly, adding extra loops to her capital L. She worked so hard her cheeks turned pink. Dear Mrs. Penworth, I didn't forget my lunchbox today. It's Ramadan. My mother finally let me fast. This means I won't be eating lunch for a month. Sincerely, Layla. P.S. I'm Muslim. P.P.S. My mother wrote you a note too. Here it is. P.P.P.S. Here's a poem I wrote about Ramadan. Ramadan is a month Muslims celebrate, a time to count our blessings and appreciate. Muslims fast before sunrise to sunset. But wait, that's not all just yet. Ramadan is a time for lots of prayer. So in the day I won't be eating any food. We help the poor people to show we care. So in the day I won't be eating any food, but hopefully we'll stay in a good mood. Layla hurried back to the cafeteria to join her class. Before school was out, she quietly dropped both notes onto Mrs. Penworth's desk. Okay, so she did it. She explained. The next morning, Layla swung her fingers as she waited for the school bus. Would Mrs. Penworth like her poem? Layla hoped Mrs. Penworth wouldn't think she forgot her lunchbox again. She slowly climbed each step on the school bus. In class, Mrs. Penworth didn't say anything, so Layla wondered what had happened. At times like this, she wished Hend and Ishrat were there with her. They would know what to say. So we'll see if the teacher got her notes, what her teacher is going to say. And at lunchtime, Layla's feet felt heavy. She was sure Mrs. Penworth hadn't seen the notes. Everyone would think she'd just forgotten her lunchbox again. As she was leaving class, Mrs. Penworth patted Layla on the back and handed her a message. Mrs. Penworth had made her capital L in Layla's name extra loopy. Dear Layla, I enjoyed your lovely poem about Ramadan. I'm impressed you're fasting. What a special time for you. You and your family must be thrilled. Would you share your poem with the class today after lunch? You can go to the library this month instead of the cafeteria. Mrs. Carman is excited to see you. Sincerely, Mrs. Penworth. P.S. Mrs. Carman told me you missed your friends. I hope you keep making new friends with our class. So now she knows what to do. She has a plan. She has a place to be. During lunchtime, Layla twirled all the way to the library. She couldn't wait to share her Ramadan poem with her class. Later, at Iftar, she would celebrate this day. So she was very happy. I'll read the author's note. I think it's good to know what the author was thinking when she wrote the story. As a child, I remember growing up in Abu Dhabi, wishing I could fast with my best friends, Hend and Ishrat, but my mother thought I was too small to fast. When I was finally allowed to fast, I missed their company. Like Layla, my family moved to Peachtree City, Georgia, all the way from Abu Dhabi, the capital of the United Arab Emirates. During Ramadan, I found it challenging to explain to my non-Muslim friends why I was not eating lunch with them. The library became my safe place from all the fragrant food smells, and I spent many hours there enjoying good books. I hope we all have courage, like Layla, to explain and celebrate our beliefs. Contrary to what some may think, Ramadan is not all about food. It's about growing up and finally being able to fast. It's about cherishing the family with whom you sit down every evening at sunset to open your fast. It's about praying with the community and sharing with those in need. It's about inviting friends over for iftar and sending food to your neighbors. Lailah's poems adapted from a note we used to stick on food my mother would send to our neighbors during Ramadan. It's a special month to celebrate, and each year I look forward to it with or without cream rolls. Ramadan Mubarak. Have a blessed Ramadan. I hope you enjoyed the story. And if you're celebrating, happy Ramadan. I'll see you soon, my friends. Take good care.